Hi, my name is Andrew Stacy. I'm the Lake Region varsity baseball coach, and I'm excited to share some potential insights, drills, and strategies to help make your practices fun, engaging, efficient, and hopefully a memorable experience that kids will want to come back to. What are some goals for this clinic? 1. Jumpstart your season. Spring's almost here. 2. Potentially give you some fun and new drills. 3. Give you some ideas on how to make your practices more efficient, limit your time, and make your ability to get just as much done in that shortened time period. Let's start with the first thing we can do. Ways to improve, shorten, or let's just be honest, make practice a little bit more efficient, right? This generation of athlete are on YouTube or soon to be on TikTok, right? We want to keep the drills and everything shortened and memorable. So 1, easiest thing to make that work is keep your groups small, right? The less kids means more movement, more of the drill, fewer times for distraction, and it allows, hopefully, the kids to be able to repeat that motion over and over again to learn the skill. For instance, if you're going to do infield work and outfield work with your group, depending on the age level, break the infield and outfield into 2 groups. If you have the means, meaning the coaching staff, break those 2 down into 2 groups as well and maybe work on different skills, or at least break them up so each coach is working with them on an individual skill and keeping the group relatively small. Obviously, a lot has to do with how many coaches you have. Try to get as many involved as you can. It's only going to help make your practice run a lot smoother. Gamify drills. This may sound very, very complicated, but it is not. All you need to do is add some criteria for points, either plus or minus, during different drills, and the kids will take it and run with it. Kids love the idea of points. They love the idea of keeping track of points. Will it cause an argument or two? Yes, but in the overall scheme of things, it'll keep them focused on what they are doing. So again, let's think of a simple example. Let's say kids are playing pass before practice. Sometimes a little unfocused, sometimes a little silly, right? You could potentially add the idea of if you throw it to your partner's chest, 2 points. You throw it to where their head would be, that's 1 point. And it just gives the kids a little bit of competition while also getting them to focus on what they're really trying to accomplish. Game-like situations. Any drill that you can involve game-like movement is only going to help, right? Our seasons are really short, so anything we can do to try to get as much game-like involved, it's only going to help. I'm going to show you some drills throwing, which you're going to take it. It's going to be a throwing program, but it's going to be trying to emulate game-like. Base running. Can you involve fielders so that base runners not only are practicing maybe going first to third or second to home or tagging up or running the bases, but the defense is also involved so the kids have a game-like feel to it. Batting practice. Can you add base running? Can you make sure that the defense has an idea of what to do with the baseball? The outfielders, make sure everybody's engaged because we certainly don't want kids standing around. So this next section is about base running and situational play. I've got some videos that are going to show you some different ways you can teach your kids to go home to first, some of the basic ones, but these drills are very important. So in this drill, what you're going to do is you're going to teach the kids to run straight through first base. Right, this is the first way you can teach them to go through first base. You can see they're going to run through, they're going to try to touch with their inside left foot, and they're going to swing back to the right. The next drill when running to first base is one when they get a base hit and they loop around and get in a straight line towards second base. You can use an object to give something visually for the kids to understand where they need to run around. Perez, why don't you go ahead? Depending on which level you're teaching at or coaching at, you're going to also want to go over first to third, second to home, and tagging up right at various bases. Anything you can do, as I've said previously, to combine game-like situations is only going to help. A good rule of thumb for first and third or second to home would be to put some outfielders in the outfield, maybe have a cutoff or two. and have the base runners run off you hitting a ball to the outfield. That way the runner can work on, right, taking his route from first to third. The outfielder can obviously work on stopping the ball. He can come up and hit the cutoff man, and then the guy at third base or home, depending on which base you're playing to, can work on making the catch and tag. So you can see right there, you can work a lot of different things into just one drill. Now let's look at some basic fielding drills. With infield work, right, it's about teaching them the proper technique to start with, right, the triangle drill. And then moving on to some more advanced drills like I'm going to show you here with the line drill. Okay, this next drill is called the line drill. First thing you're going to do is you're going to start with making a line, straight line, about maybe 5-8 feet. When you're with some of the younger guys, you probably want to have them make a line out in front so they know when it's time to start with the right-left. So what they're going to do is they're going to start with short, choppy steps, and when they get to this line, they're going to step with their right and then move through the baseball with their left. A very good infielding drill so they get their momentum heading towards their target at first base or potentially second. Brad, go ahead and show them how it's done. Good. The next drill you can do to get your player ready is just a nice, easy short hop drill, which they can do with themselves. So they just take a tennis ball and they just drop it. Notice how he's just scooping it up through like you would a short hop, right? Keeping that wrist stiff, right? And this works on it. Now, you can progress to get it to a point where now the coach will throw it to him. Brez, hold on, here you go. Right, so you can progress from that to then a short hop, a coach thrown short hop. And then, of course, you can progress to a further distance, and that will obviously make it more challenging the older they get. With outfield skills, right, it's about being able to catch and track the ball. And here are some drills that could potentially help you with those two things. This next drill is something you can work on your players catching. Usually the biggest issue with catching a ball is that their heads are moving around. If you have them lay down, this will take that away and they can focus on just using their hands to catch the ball. As they get a little bit more comfortable with it, you can have them sit up. So sit up. Use two hands, please. Right, and as you can see, the more they get comfortable, then you can obviously get to a standing position. Right, the idea is that hopefully by laying down, they keep their head straight. This next drill also works on catching. So this time I'm going to use a volleyball, but you can use like a softball, anything that's really soft, and they're going to try to hit it off the top of their head. The idea here is that just like you would a fly ball, they're tracking it in, and right when they catch it, they catch it over the top of their head. So the idea is right, they're hitting it right off the top of their head here, and they're tracking it in. That's going to help them with the tracking aspect of it, obviously with a much bigger target. Good job. Scenarios that you want to be able to build communication and hopefully some situational awareness. A great thing you can do with the outfield, right, is working on communication with fly balls, right? Know the priority system, understand how that works, and even on ground balls, how they can help back up bases in the infield and how they can help back each other up on ground balls, right, so extra bases don't happen. Letting the outfield know these priorities and know where they can back up keeps them involved and keeps them into the game. Between an infield and outfield perspective, they can work on communication on fly balls as well, right? How many times in a game do you see, right, those little tweening fly balls kind of fall in because either people don't communicate and they don't know which one's going to catch it, or over communicate and two people wind up going to the ball. So having that communication system clearly indicated will really help both groups succeed and obviously help you make more outs. Infielders, pitchers, catchers can obviously work together when they can communicate on rundowns and bunts, right? And you can create situations in practice with base runners as well, so that while they're also communicating, right, they're seeing it happening. They can learn the game that way, so that when situations like this happen in a game. It's not shocking. They've seen it. They understand what to do. The obvious thing is, right, talking about situations, right, what they should do, what they should be looking for, so that they're able to successfully make those plays in practice and then translate it over into the game. I always come down to three things. The foundational thing is always T-work, right? Regardless of age, even quick ball, T-work is an incredibly great thing that can build confidence in a hitter. Me and my son did a couple of drills that we'll show you here in this video that show some different skills within T-work, right? Where to make contact on the ball, how to work on, driving through the baseball, right? Having that explode through the baseball. This drill is a great T drill for youth players. As you can see, I have drawn in a dot on the tennis ball. This gives the player a visual to focus on when they're hitting off the tee so that they know where their barrel should be making contact. Bears, go ahead. This next drill is working on contact, maybe for some of the older kids at the youth level, but maybe the sons that get a little stronger, right? This is going to help them staying through contact instead of letting their bat kind of drop, really following through. So go ahead, Fred. The next drill you can do to help a kid work on his ability to drive the ball up the middle is setting up a tee 10 feet in front with a target of some sort. It could be a net as well, but this time we're going to set up a tee with a soccer ball. And as you can see, I've got a tee set up with a wiffle ball. So Breslin is going to try to take a normal swing, and he's going to try to adjust his swing to hit the soccer ball, to try to stay up the middle. Go ahead, Brez. You've got soft toss, which is kind of the next step up. Right now they're tracking the ball. There's a couple of different things you can do here, right? Obviously, when we're starting out, simplest thing you can do is just simply work on them watching the ball back, getting their stride, and then tossing it up to them, obviously. That's the simplest way to go. As they get more in tune with it, right, you can start, throwing the ball a little higher for them to work on an off-speed pitch. You can throw an extra tennis ball in there and have them, and pick which one for them to hit. Therefore, they're focusing on one ball and getting their barrel there. When it comes to live BP or hitting, in general off of a machine or a coach, I always go back to what is the level they're at asking them to do, right? And so obviously at the really low levels, right, just making contact with the ball, right, just hitting the ball hard somewhere. But as you go up in levels, right, they start adding more things in, like, with guys less than 2 outs, sacrifice flies, and maybe as you get up into the maybe middle school and high school level, they start talking about, hitting the ball the other way with a guy on second base. So when you approach this aspect, think about what is being asked of my player. So, do they need to be able to hit, hard ground balls? Do they need to be able to hit line drives? Do they need to be able to hit, pull and opposite field? So have them be able to produce those skills frequently, and then obviously try to mix in different approaches, meaning do you throw live one day and then maybe do a machine the next day, so they're constantly adjusting what they need to get to, and different things like that. So there's going to be 5 or 6 drills I'm going to show you. Drill number 1, all right, we call figure 8 from a knee. So you start with your throwing knee on the ground, start with your glove in the middle, and you just make a figure 8. The idea is that you're getting momentum so that you can get to the tee position and then follow through. Make sure you follow across your throwing knee, your glove knee, and you tuck your glove, right? So that's the first one. It probably wouldn't be a bad idea when you do the first couple to make sure you're getting into the proper tee position, right? You got your glove up, you got your elbow above your shoulder, right? But then after a while, once you get it, then it's just boom, right through, nice and smooth. The second drill is the same idea, but it's from standing up. So you're going to plant your 2 feet, you're going to face your target, and you're just going to make that figure 8 motion. Again, getting to here, and then following through again across the glove knee and tucking your glove. All right, so that's 2. They're very similar, of course, but again, you're slowly taking steps. Just like when you were a kid, right, you slowly were able to take a few steps, then you were able to go a little further, then a little faster, now you're able to run, right? The next one we call boxers, all right? And the reason we call them boxers is because you're moving your feet back and forth. So I'm facing my target. My target is over here now, all right? So I'm going back and forth. When I get my weight back, then I want to explode through to my target, all right? So
boom, 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 get to here, and then follow through towards your target. We call those boxers. The idea is on the balls of your feet to get your momentum going back and then through the baseball towards your target. That is a huge thing to follow your throw when you're making a throw, no matter where it is. All right, so that was boxers. The next one is called step backs, very similar to boxers. You're going to start on your front foot though, and you're going to jump back to your back foot. Now I'm in a good throwing position. I got my weight on my back hip, and now boom, I'm exploding through to my target. Again, the idea is you get back to get your weight behind you, and then you throw it through towards your target. The next one's called a fielding drill. The reason I call it a fielding drill is because whatever position you primarily play, you should start by fielding a ball in that position. So if you're an infielder, you start with your hands down like you fielded a ground ball, you bring it to your stomach, and then you make a throw. If you're an outfielder, right, start with the glove above your head like you made a catch, and then get to the correct throwing position. You could also do this as a catcher, right? Get down in your position, make a catch, boom, get to your surfboard, and then make the throw to your partner. The reason we do that drill is because it allows you to do more game-like throws when you're not able to play games. All right, that's why we do that drill. And then the last one is crow hop, so you want a long toss. And the crow hop is when you're simply going to take your back foot, go behind your front foot, and use that momentum to push off to get your ball to go a little further and a little faster, right? So it should look something like this. So back, push off the front, and then explode to your target, obviously following through. When you're doing the long toss drill, a good way to do it is to think of landing the ball in front of your partner so it bounces to them, right? You do not want to throw a lollipop. You want to get it on a little bit of a line, so you want the ball to be coming down at an angle, downward like this, not like a lollipop.
Movement, right, and trying to mimic the throwing motion in terms of fielding and body movement because, right, to try to get to that main base challenge, right, of having a very small window, right? As you can see, there were some basic drills, but then it got more position specific, right? And you can add more stuff to that, maybe doing a backhand and a forehand with the infielders and maybe doing over the shoulder for the outfielders or doing a do or die ground ball. You can also have the catchers work on, like they could throw a ground ball out in front of them and they can work on fielding bunts and different things like that. But anything you can do to get them more reps in a situation that they need to be able to be comfortable in the game. All right, here are some pitching drills that you can do with your youth players during practice that can help them with their mechanics. The first one is called 1, 2, 3. So the idea is they set up in a stretch and they lift their leg 1, 2, 3, and then they drop their leg 1, 2, 3. And the idea is that they are staying under control and composure. You also notice that the other one is step up and you step back behind your leg and then you're up again and then going to the plate. You'll notice both of them are about keeping your body back so you don't drift forward and have your arm lagging back. Some other drills that you can do is the drop and drive drill. So you get them into this position and you get them down so that they're engaging that back leg and really pushing off to their target, right? Obviously, the smaller they are, they're not going to get a great push up, but teaching them that they can use that backside is going to help them not only on the mound, but obviously throwing as well. I thought it was a good idea to get some fun, potentially new drills out there for the springtime season, so best of luck. Here are some things to wrap up with, right? So first and foremost, right, make practices engaging and fun. Think of trying to create a moment every time for kids to keep coming back. Obviously focus on the fundamentals, make them fun, but if they can master those, the next levels will be more enjoyable and more successful. And of course, inspire them to show up, right? We have an opportunity and an obligation to help these next generation of players love the game and know the game. Thank you again and for all that you do for youth baseball here in the region.